It's not,
Well, I haven't watched the whole thing.
I need you to watch.
I know.
Okay,
I know what you said about.
Okay, this channel is so unusual. Because, like, the clips that they're using are so odd.
That's true. You surely want to be respectful in Japan, don't you? And that's why today I'll be showing this guy as a great role model. Because at least in my eyes as a Japanese person, he's one of the most thoughtful, considerate, and respectful foreigners I've ever seen. And I think anyone coming to Japan might want to steal the behavior and mindsets. Maybe some people disagree on that though, and just find him cringy or arrogant, as he complains a lot.
Wait, what? They're saying this dude isn't disrespectful, or is he talking about
mindsets? Maybe some people disagree on that though, and just find him cringy or arrogant.
This dude isn't respectful? Or are they talking about he doesn't think Mr. Affable is respectful? Is that what he's saying? As opposed to Connor Dog Va?
As he complains a lot about everything.
Am I the only one keeping this alive? Do you guys not appreciate sandwiches? I just complain about everything.
But to be fair, that's mostly when he's talking to non-Japanese people. If you pay attention to when he's interacting with Japanese people, he's clearly adjusting the way to talk or behave into Japanese way so well, and succeeding in being respectful. Having said that, what he still finds really difficult, like many other foreigners in Japan, is not capable or knowledgeable enough about formal ways of speaking or how to use the honorifics, which is honestly super complicated in Japanese, and this is what you should keep in mind.
In English, how you talk to your friends is in a lot of aspects the same way as how you would talk to your boss. Whereas in Japanese, we have formal Japanese and informal Japanese. The words we use are completely different.
But the reason I'm gonna feature this guy and what I wanna emphasize is, even if you can't be verbally respectful, I do think you could still convey your courtesy, respect, or formality to people.
I will not be watching, but good luck. Just had a 6-hour B2B day, and as usual, thanks. Why are you not watching the stream rewards?
Japan by your attitude or behavior, just like Connor does. But at this point, some people might argue that why would I bother in the first place? I'd rather play the Gaijin card, which make anything I do or say in Japan forgiven anyway.
Playing the Gaijin card basically means you get away with shit that Japanese people wouldn't be able to get away with in Japan, but they forgive you because you're supposed to be like a mindless foreigner.
Yes, I play the Baka Gaijin card pretty hard when I go to Japan.
I guess you could just play the Gaijin card and get away from anything you do, especially if you are a tourist. But I don't think that's what you really want, because I feel like this is kind of universal. And
okay, that's a little bit different though. Those guys that no, I think I do play the Baka Gaijin card a little bit, but I'm trying to be respectful, whereas those guys are not trying to be respectful and they're just being fucking assholes in general. Taking advantage of people's kindness or talents is one of the worst things we can do.
I really hope we all
in any culture or country.
I agree. Regardless of what differences.
Helping out, you know, others, being a good Samaritan is very like ingrained in a lot of Japanese people's minds.
I think most people will help you out if they hey, you have no money here.
And so taking advantage of that to make a video which you are going to make money off of anyway, also aiding this person in doing illegal shit, is just the most scummy fucking thing you can do.
Anyway, because Connor's so respectful to other people, it totally makes sense he's been surrounded by the same type of people, and that's actually the reason for his happiness.
And I'm like really happy that I have viewers who are so respectful, and I talk to you guys all the time on Twitter and you guys are so polite.
The same is going to happen to you in Japan, whether you are a YouTuber, streamer, English teacher, or any other occupation. And if I have to give you the reason, chances are that you're gonna need support or assistance from them.
I need your help.
That's gonna make your job way easier. I'm sure these foreigners eventually will never have any support from Japanese people when they need it.
Connor Dog is an icon.
If you want people to respect what you do in Japan,
so
you need to show them respect.
Are we polite to you? This guy made a pro Connor vid but anti Joey vid. Makes no sense. I saw that. That's why I wanted to see it. But I don't know if he's anti Joey. But so the thing is, I think my viewers are incredible and they're very nice. Okay. Wait, hold on one second. I think you guys are incredible. I have one of the best communities, if not the best community on the planet. I say this all the fucking time. You guys are really ruthless to me usually, and sometimes you meme a little bit out of pocket. But overall, this is a wonderful community full of wonderful people. As far as Connor's community goes, like, yeah, I think the community reflects the streamer in general, and that's it. You guys are ruthless to me and very nice to everyone else. Every other streamer that I collaborate with will always talk behind the scenes about how nice you guys are and how wonderful you are in general, but also simultaneously how terrifying this community is as a force of like cancellation. I guess we still have that shit.
First, and not to come off as a threat or nuisance in the culture, which I think he does get right.
And I'm not rude to anyone. It's all about that respect.
To show you how he's being respectful, let's take this video for example, and let me break down his behavior and intention.
My little bro showed me your Boo Boo Bennett vids and he loves Sea Dog Va. Yeah.
コナです。YouTuber です。僕の日本語ゴミです。
So this is one of the ways Corners often takes, because many Japanese do. I'm sure you're gonna get this kind of response all the time in Japan. And I want you to know that this is not self-hating or trying to be a negative person. We often skip this part, so it seems like it, but actually what we're doing is giving a compliment. So going back to Connor, he's also skipping this. And what he implies is, I acknowledge your higher position and respect you. And this is basically what he's doing. He lowers the position intentionally so that the other person gets higher than him and feels respected.
日本語はめちゃ遅い。私で話しました。
In the same way, this is actually the message he's trying to get across, which works in Japan, and I'm sure all the Japanese persons in the room got his intention and appreciate it.
聞きやすい声ですね。
ゴミです。ごめんなさい。
You made that look so easy that I'm kind of worried that I'm going to look so bad when I do it.
By the way, Connor's not the only person doing this.
全然絵が描けないんで。
Now at this point, you might be feeling so weird and wonder why we take the approach. Mainly there are two reasons for that.
Because Japan operates on like a social hierarchy.
Another reason
How did he manage to live years in Japan and still suck at Japanese? What are you talking about? He hasn't lived for years in Japan at all. This show's gonna be insane. QD pulling almost 90K viewers already. I know. It's like, if you think Canadians are polite, like Japanese are on crack when it comes to hyper polite.
behind it would be the lack of confidence. So I think many Japanese, including myself, wouldn't be comfortable or used to showing any confidence to others, unless they grew up in different culture, of course. And we often put too much importance on modesty, which totally makes sense, doesn't it? For example, when it comes to comedy, this works really well here. While in Western culture, especially the US, I've seen many people find it cringy or pathetic. Anyway, you don't have to follow this approach, but just to let you know that that's what we often take, and so does Kona, to show respect in Japan.
You did that perfectly, but if I mess up, what do I do when I mess up?
And this is another his habit that he always executes.
ありがとうございます。Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to me. ありがとうございます。Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
It's not politeness, it's crushing vertical submission as a society.
Thank you so much, Kaho. And thank you so much for being a beautiful and amazing boyfriend. Thank you, thank you.
Actually, this is the first thing we get taught in Japanese education, so deeply ingrained into our mind since an early age. And that's why compared to other language like English, Japanese has way more words or expressions to show gratitude.
I like how
I explained this before, like when we were watching the Miyazaki the video where like I was shocked when I found out that in Japan, I think was it Kaho who told me this? Like you don't normally say no. Like even in like polite conversation or even in like regular conversation, you don't straight up say no. You can say it. It's a thing that it's a word in the language. But the liberalization of Japan, no, it's straight up like the way you say no is like you take like I'm sorry, that's not possible. You take like multiple avenues, multiple side steps to be able to fucking basically say no. which is crazy to me. I think, like, I mean, that's like, it showcases how different a culture is.
How Japanese culture treats others or even objects or food with a polite and thankful manner.
Unfortunately, this is kind of trending in the world these days. So if you come to Japan, why not take the opportunity to express...
The Japanese were not respectful in Nanking? Okay, dude. Like, yeah, I know. That's insane to fucking bring up while we're currently talking about, like, contemporary or even, like, Japanese culture in general. Like, yeah. They also are, you know, the government is a genocide denier, but it's like wild to bring up right now.
Their gratitude more often than usual. Not just that's gonna make other people feel better about you, but also benefit your mental health.
皆さん貴重な時間を本当にありがとうございます。自分の英語はちょっと聞き取りづらいと思う。
If you ever watch a Mercedes video, I'm gonna mention Hitler. Yeah, it's like this is not even about like this is about like civilians in general, okay?
こうやって我慢して聞いてくださっていることに本当に感謝しております。
When it comes to conversation in Japan, this is what usually happens, so he follows it, which basically means he never interrupts and merely focuses on listening to the other person. In baseball, we clearly separate defense turn and offense turn, and only focus on either one. So in baseball conversation, cutting in someone like this doesn't happen.
You're right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand.
I'd like to
what
say,
I don't
even
understand.
before the 1920s,
Do you know what I mean?
women could speak openly.
It's not,
Well, I haven't
it's
watched the
not
whole
a
thing.
but.
I haven't watched the whole
need you
thing.
to watch.
I know.
Okay,
I know what you said about.
Okay, this channel is so unusual. Because, like, the clips that they're using are so odd.
I'm gonna finish.
While playing ice hockey, on the other hand, defense or offense could switch any moment quickly.
Can like match the
I
smell
just
of
think
bacon.
bacon is like it's not that great. Like it just kind of tastes okay.
Just give me like a nice piece of pork or ham.
Especially the American bacon.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Depends
this is
on
an
the
insane
context.
take. That's a bad take in general.
But in my experience at least, I would say most people would be confused by that and not really comfortable. So especially in a group conversation like this, probably you often see a Japanese person end up talking nothing.
Why?
That's a good fucking question.
Maybe you're guessing that that's because we prefer baseball to ice hockey, right? Which I don't think is true. I personally know so many Japanese passionate about it. So the bigger reason in my opinion would be that one, unfortunately we couldn't have much class or opportunity to nurture our debating.
I've only been to Japan 2 times, but I'm definitely going again soon.
Or speaking skills. It's mostly
that's a certainty, like the top of the hour ad break. You know what I mean? And Misgift does want to come over, but like I keep telling him, bro, it's gonna be cutting it short. You know what I mean? It's gonna be cutting it fucking close. And this motherfucker's like, we'll just come, we'll just chill. China trip when? Sorry if you already addressed this. I want to do that as well.
about simply listening rather than expressing opinion assertively. And secondly, jumping into a conversation could cause disturbing harmony and making waves. That's right, it's one of the deru kui wa utareru. And besides,
I found being this polite in the West, people just walk all over you. Yeah.
Even if you are quiet or passive, maybe you'll get a chance to make your voice heard because everyone's respectful and values harmony. But in the States, for example, that's not gonna happen usually. So you often need to be assertive or aggressive whether you like it or not.
Jump in, just go through the
Lily the
Anyway,
Chaos God, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted
he
subs.
clearly adjusts to a Japanese style conversation, which means focus on listening more, nodding frequently, and never interrupts the other person. Also,
as an American, you can only stay for 6 days visa free. Wait, China has visa free travel now? Since when? Your obsession with Japan is your most fascist quality. Don't ask me to explain. I mean, you're absolutely correct on that. That's number one. And number two, oh, no, I didn't even realize there was visa-free travel to China. But yeah, you're 100% correct on what you just said. Sandwich, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. See you soon, Sandwich. That's literally a correct assessment. But my most fascist quality is not my hyper obsession with Japan. It's actually my food takes. I'm basically a food fascist.
So, perhaps consciously, he often avoids excessive hand gesture or movement, making too much eye contact, and using harsh words or swearing as well. Which, by the way, is not just when he's interviewing someone, but pretty much any interaction he gets in Japan. While talking to non-Japanese or other foreigners, he clearly switching the mode and sounds completely different. I'm sure many people already know this, but I wanna remind you in case you forgot. Simply switching the language usually doesn't work, especially if you wanna be respectful. The culture should be taken into account. Anyway, moving on.
I think one of the funniest parts about Connor is that he has a lisp when he speaks in Japanese. Like, he has a different accent.
This is what Connor always keeps in mind.
They probably feel that from a normal person's perspective that like what they do is unusual, and it's my job to be like, hell no, like let's do it.
Many foreigners often find something we do cringy or weird and neglect to even try.
I think as Americans or just Western society, we assume that the whole world is going through the same thing. We always look through the lens of America. Like we always have American lens when we look at different countries.
But this man's clearly different and open-minded. He's willing to experience some things that he's not comfortable or used to and try to appreciate it, which is actually his biggest strength.
Would you consider this cultural appropriation? Is not necessarily wrong, but certainly questionable? What? Every country isn't as judgmental as the US. First of all, I think Japanese people are hella judgmental. What do you mean? Japanese people are probably more judgmental than Americans in general. If you're looking at like on average, no, I would say there are plenty more countries that are infinitely more judgmental than the United States, as a matter of fact. The major difference, however, is like where and how they're being judgmental. Like, I feel like Japanese people will never fucking check Sean's Fit on Cutie stream. Oh shit, let's see. Quick.
And reason for the success in Japan.
Utilizing my strength, which was that I think I was I could withstand cringe to a degree that I think other people couldn't.
Now let's keep in mind that our human brain is capable of adapting, and you don't know what you're gonna like actually. For example, this was completely out of his comfort zone, and he has no idea about it. But in the end, this is what happened.
So that was Japanese wrestling, and I gotta say,
That's
it was
sick.
a
This
ton
was so
of fun.
sick. He's
And
done
I've come
such
away
cool
with a
shit.
massive appreciation
Are you gonna
of
stream in the shower? What do you mean? I showered beforehand.
wrestling, and especially these wrestlers.
The same might happen to you. Whatever you find weird or cringy in Japan, why not try it at least once? I think you don't truly appreciate it till you actually try it. Whether that's
Miz and Lud eating stream again. That was a fucking sick ass stream, wasn't it? When Ludwig fucked my house up and we had a sturströmming.
About food, customer, or people, which brings my next point.
The most important thing is talking.
Not many foreigners doing it. They only stuck to other foreigners. Maybe because they're afraid of making mistakes or offending Japanese people. And that's why they're still not sure how to show courtesy or respect in Japan like Connor does. Despite of all the compliments I said toward him, Connor's not perfect and still makes a lot of mistakes and feels embarrassed a lot.
恥ずかしがってるからもっとかっこよく
That's because I am.
Every now and then. I'm gonna be on the stream in a
and learns
second.
the mannerism quickly and effectively. So I suggest you do the same in Japan. As much as you don't want to be a dick or offensive to anyone in the different culture, you shouldn't be too afraid of making mistakes.
This is so funny. Dude. People being like, Hasan, I don't want to be annoying, but are you allowed to restream it? Chat, I love you all. Okay. 1, I'm not restreaming it. 2, I'm going to rate it as soon as I leave my house. 3, I don't know if you know this, but Cutie is one of my very good friends and a part owner of the podcast that her and I do together. It is so wild that people are fucking talking about this like this is a completely separate entity. What is happening?
Mistakes or embarrassing yourself. Otherwise, how would you notice your mistakes in the first place?
You know, you're just living your life.
Did he put out a tweet if you're invited and not going to restream? Going to not restream except for a few exceptions. I'm not restreaming the fucking event. I'm gonna die.
doing things, and you're like, oh, this thing I did could have been damaging to in this kind of way to either myself, maybe people around me, because I just didn't realize. Biggest help, and this probably sounds like a nightmare for introverts, was going out to bars and just speaking with people in Japanese. And I was really bad at it, but I did manage to hold some conversations.
If going to a pub or bar is not your cup of tea, for example, meetup.com or language exchange apps might be something you wanna take. Or even maybe you wanna do streaming like Connor. And why not sometimes interview people in Japan and testing out your Japanese? Anyway, there are many ways you can take. And whatever you choose, I think
is
you
the
should...
weird drama frogs that were crying about restreaming shit and restreaming channel drama is so weird. Oh, is that what it is? Well, it's so funny to try to do a drama about what my situation
Keep in mind
is.
his great advice.
The way to improve your speaking in Japanese is to speak Japanese. You guys are in a really unique position where you're in Japan, you're interacting with Japanese teachers, you're interacting even with Japanese students. So I think it is so incredibly important to fully utilize that.
And finally, every time he's interacting with Japanese people, this is what he does much more often than when he's talking to non-Japanese.
I'll try and not mess up as much this one. ごめんなさい。恥ずかしい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。Sorry, I offended you. That didn't do you justice at all.
Which you might find weird based on your culture. He doesn't need to lie because clearly he's not making any trouble. But Connor rather take the opportunity to show respect or courtesy. Not just in Japan, but these cultures at least. Apologizing is one of the most common ways to show your respect.
You guys are good. You guys should be voice actors. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
To be clear though, this could be taken.
Would you consider these passport bros? Yeah, dude. The one guy that he showed literally is Japanese. The other guy that he showed, who's my friend, is there on a work visa, specifically to work in Japan. Yeah. No, dude, it's not. The fuck? No. Of course not. Passport bros, for those who don't know, are usually people that go to countries that are usually significantly poorer than the United States of America to go and like they're like sex pests, and they'll go there to like find women. You know. Yeah, often to like Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, places like that, Thailand, India, that sort of stuff. Engaging in sex tourism. I don't think you can do that for Japan in general because it's absolutely in the sphere of Western Empire. Classic Hasan in Berlin. Yeah, dude, he doesn't love us. Doesn't stream his friends' content. Now you need permission. I hope Jank's nephew gets in aboard. Classic Hasan stream in Berlin. The people that think that, like, for example, I have to, for people who think that I did sex tourism in Germany, if you still do have this kind of idiotic opinion, I think you need to remember there's a difference. Okay, 1, I've dated sex workers. 2, I am pro-sex work. 3, I certainly do not need to pay for sex, unlike you fucking loser, who will never actually see love for the rest of your life. You will forever be a lonely little fucking worm. Okay? That's why, even on a fun day like this one, you're in the chat with your 11th fucking sock account, okay, as a 45-year-old fucking loser who still lives in a goddamn basement somewhere trying to get a fucking rise out of someone. Okay? It sucks. This kind of attitude is not going to help you, okay? It's not going to make you better. Claiming that, classic, I've triggered you, is not going to make you look cool. Even in your own fucking Discord servers that you go back to be like, I did it. I got a rise out of them. I promise you. It's not going to make you feel fulfilled. It's not going to make you feel better. You are just going deeper and deeper into this dark pit that you exist in. Get better. Okay?
negatively even in Japan. And just because you become apologetic, it doesn't mean you'll be respectful. But in Connor's case, it doesn't come off negative. It's clearly genuine and sincere. Doesn't feel fake, at least from a Japanese perspective. Anyway, based on my experience at least, the focus and intention would be quite different depending on the culture. And that's why Japanese people often apologize.
Imagine being like going to Germany for sex tourism. It's like, that's not fucking that at all. I don't participate in sex tourism regardless, dumbass. What we're talking about is people who are like very proud about like openly going to poorer countries so they can like date the women there or some shit. I don't even fully understand what it is. But it's exploitative. And it's also usually not legal sex work.
Apologize, even when we're clearly aware that we're not really blame.
Sorry.
Now please keep in mind that these wouldn't be the only ways to be respectful. So if I'm missing anything, please let me know that in the comment below. And let me thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. ありがとうございました。
Like the military dudes in the 70s and 80s that brought home heaps of Japanese, Vietnamese, Russian wives. I mean, that's like another byproduct of direct warfare. But Phantom won? Wait, how did Phantom win anything?